You mean nothing to me anymore. Never set foot in this house again." My father's harsh words rang in my ears as I walked away from the only home I had ever known, tears streaming down my face. Supported by John, my soon-to-be husband, I left right after graduating high school, severing ties with the family that had never truly embraced me. My name is Amy, and now, at 36, I am a farmer. 18 years have passed since that painful departure, and with each day, I am spending more time in the life I chose than in the one I was born into. The thought is bittersweet. I grew up in the city, where my father worked a corporate job while my mother stayed home. In our family of 4, my elder brother, just a year older than me, was always the favored child. My parents made no effort to hide their bias. His meals were grander, his birthday gifts more extravagant. He relished his superiority, constantly belittling me, while my cries for attention went unanswered. Eventually, I stopped trying. Everything changed during the summer of my second year in high school. My brother, struggling with poor mock exam results, vented his frustration on me. My parents, treating him as if he were made of glass, demanded I shoulder all the household chores so he could study. Because my grades were better than his, they tried to suppress my success to boost his confidence. It was absurd. Then, I learned about a rural experience program, 2 days on a farm, harvesting vegetables and cooking meals together. It was a brief escape from my suffocating home life, and despite my father's disdain for agriculture, I used my own savings to go. It was my first act of defiance and the best decision I ever made. I found warmth I had never known. The farm was peaceful, the air crisp, and the work oddly fulfilling. But what moved me most was the kindness of the host family. Their eldest son, John, was my age. At first, I hesitated, wary of anyone resembling my brother. But John was nothing like him. He was kind, respectful, and genuinely close to his parents. When the trip ended, I cried. John's mother hugged me, saying, "You're welcome back anytime." I promised I would return. We kept in touch through letters, which soon became an exchange diary. Over time, our bond deepened into a quiet, long-distance love. Meanwhile, my brother failed to get into his top-choice university and settled for a third-rate private college. As I prepared for my own future, my parents insisted I forego higher education. "Women don't need college," they argued, but I knew the truth. They feared I would outshine my brother. Since that trip, I had dreamed of becoming a farmer. While college wasn't necessary for that path, John had moved to the city for his studies, wanting to explore modern farming methods. I set my sights on university. My parents tried to sabotage me at every turn, but I refused to back down. When I passed the entrance exam, my father erupted in rage. "Do you think you, a girl, should attend a better school than your brother?" My mother chimed in, insisting all financial support had to go to him. That night, after a final, explosive argument, I walked away for good. John's parents, now my in-laws, took me in and supported my education. 4 years later, John and I married. I never contacted my parents or brother again until my in-laws insisted we formally inform them of our wedding. Reluctantly, we visited. The moment they saw us, their faces twisted with scorn. My mother sneered, "You must be struggling if you're working outside until you're this dark." My brother smirked, mocking us for doing manual labor. I paled, mortified, as my in-laws' gentle smiles stiffened. John spoke firmly, "With all due respect, we are proud to be farmers." My father laughed condescendingly, "You're nothing to us. Don't come back asking for money, we don't want to see you again." I had already been disowned at 18. This was just the final confirmation. On the way home, I cried silently, and then, I let them go. Years passed. I built a life filled with love, hard work, and purpose. I became a mother to 2 children. My days were full, and the wounds of my past faded. Then, one day, a cousin called. "Your brother's getting married." I felt nothing. "Your parents and your brother are moving into a new duplex after the wedding." The cousin knew about our estrangement. They had always assumed I'd still attend family events. But as I ended the call, I felt only quiet closure. I had long since left them behind. A call from the past. On impulse, I dialed my mother's cell phone. "This number is no longer in use." I frowned and tried my father's number. The same automated message. Had they changed their numbers? I didn't have my brother's contact information, but I remembered the landline at my childhood home. With trembling fingers, I dialed. The call connected. My heart pounded as I waited. "Hello?" My brother's voice came through the receiver. "Brother, it's Amy," I said hesitantly, about to congratulate him on his wedding. But he cut me off. "There's no need for you to do anything. You're a farmer. You're a stranger to me. Don't call me." The line went dead. I immediately called back, only to find I was already blocked. The rejection hit harder than I expected. No matter how much he despised me, we were still family. Did I truly mean so little to them? Seeing my distress, John gently asked, "What's wrong? Did something happen?" I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. As I told him what had happened, my husband and in-laws reacted with the same anger as if they had been personally insulted. "Your home is here, Amy. Your family is with us," my mother-in-law said warmly, pulling me into a hug. Tears welled up in my eyes. How I wished she had been my real mother. She had shown me more love and care than my own ever had. "You're happy now, and that's all that matters," my father-in-law reassured me. "The one who laughs in the end is the winner." John nodded. "Let's take them as a bad example. We'll make sure we never treat our children the way they treated you." I wiped my tears and smiled. "Thank you, everyone." Despite everything, I was happy now. I had found the family I had always longed for. A drastic turn. Life moved on, and I poured my energy into my work. My in-laws were large-scale grain farmers in the American Midwest, also cultivating fruits and vegetables. However, a lot of their produce didn't meet market standards and went to waste. Drawing from my college studies in food business, I developed a plan. I partnered with the local farmers union to create an online business selling jams, juices, and pickles made from imperfect produce. To my surprise, it was a massive success. Mothers seeking safe, locally sourced food loved our products. Seniors longing for the nostalgic taste of homemade pickles became loyal customers. Over time, my small venture grew into a thriving company. I collaborated with other young women who had married into farming families and provided jobs to unemployed individuals. The business flourished into a $5 million enterprise. Then, everything changed when a national TV station aired a feature on our success. Overnight, we were bombarded with orders, media inquiries, and interview requests. My phone rang constantly. Amidst the flood of calls, an unknown number flashed on my screen. Without thinking, I answered. "Amy!" The voice on the other end made my stomach drop. It was my estranged brother. He had seen the TV special, and now, after years of silence, he wanted something. "Lend me money to start a business," he demanded. I let out a quiet laugh, incredulous. This was the same brother who had declared me a stranger, the same man who had mocked me for being a farmer. Now, because I was successful, I was suddenly worth knowing? "No," I said firmly. His voice rose in anger. "Stop being stubborn. If a woman like you can start a business and make money, then I'm bound to succeed too." The irony was almost laughable. Ignoring his demands, I instead asked why they hadn't informed me about their move. His answer shocked me. "My wife didn't want any connection with you. The moment your name came up, she told me to cut you off." It all made sense. His wife, a city girl, must have shared the same elitist mindset as my parents. They had discarded me once again, yet here they were, reaching out only because I had something they wanted. Family or opportunists? A few hours later, another unknown number called. This time, it was my father. "Explain yourself," he barked. "Why is a woman running a business? You're stealing a man's job." I took a deep breath. John and my father-in-law handle the farming side. I manage the business. It's a team effort. He hesitated, as if struggling to process the idea, but then changed the subject. "Why didn't you contact us?" I exhaled sharply. "You disowned me." There was a pause. Then, he hung up. Minutes later, my mother called. "You're making $500 million a year. You should send money home," she demanded. I sighed. That's revenue, not personal profit. After covering expenses and employees' salaries, there's not much left over. "Liar," she snapped, unfazed by the shamelessness of her request. I set my jaw. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't send it to strangers. I hung up and blocked her number. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The final confrontation. Days later, they showed up. My parents, my brother, and his wife, whom I had never met before, arrived uninvited at my in-laws' house. John responded calmly, confidence radiating from him. "Farming is a respectable profession where we can fully utilize what we studied in college." I couldn't hold back a laugh. The absurdity of the moment struck me. Here was my brother, the one who had always looked down on me, utterly lost for words. "Brother, you've lost to John and everything," I said with a smile. For years, I had feared my family, craved their approval, agonized over their rejection, but in this moment, I realized something profound. I didn't need their acceptance. I wanted to make my stance crystal clear. "We are already strangers," I stated firmly. Then, after a brief pause, I softened my tone deliberately. "So, I can't lend or give money to strangers. Please leave. If you cause a disturbance or act violently, I'll call the police and take legal action." The weight of my words settled over them. There was no room for negotiation. John and my in-laws moved closer, their silent presence shielding me from any potential harm. My heart swelled with gratitude. For the first time in my life, I felt truly protected, truly cherished. Even my employees, the people who had become like family, spoke out. "How shameless! Leave!" Defeated, my parents, brother, and his wife could do nothing but glare at us with resentment before retreating. A new chapter begins. Later, I heard from my cousin that my brother and parents had tried their luck with a high-risk business venture. Instead of humbling themselves and asking for help sooner, they let their arrogance guide them. They failed. Now, they teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. But that was no longer my concern. My life was full, filled with purpose, love, and happiness. My business thrived, creating opportunities for others and promoting sustainable farming practices. I had a devoted husband, a loving family, and children who grew up in a home filled with warmth and understanding. Every day was a blessing. I had no regrets about walking away from my past. A life of purpose and love. The confrontation with my estranged family was a turning point, but it didn't define me. What defined me was the life I had built with the people who truly mattered. John remained my pillar of strength, his love unwavering. Together, we raised our children in a home rooted in kindness, respect, and perseverance. They saw firsthand that family wasn't about blood, it was about the love and support shared between people who truly cared for one another. As my business expanded, we continued to give back. We supported local farmers and artisans, ensuring that our success uplifted others. We championed sustainable farming and community-driven entrepreneurship, turning our venture into a force for good. Even my extended family relationships evolved. My cousin and I grew closer, forming a genuine bond built on mutual respect and trust. It was proof that true family could be found in unexpected places. The family I chose. My mother-in-law became more than just an in-law, she became a confidant, a mother figure I had never had. She offered wisdom, kindness, and an unwavering belief in me. My father-in-law treated me as his own daughter, always ready to lend guidance and support. They were my family. They were the ones who stood by me, who saw my worth, who celebrated my success without jealousy or greed. The people who had disowned me, they had only freed me. And now, standing here, surrounded by love, success, and the unwavering support of my chosen family, I knew I had truly won. I had come a long way from the abandoned daughter they cast aside. I was stronger. I was free. And that was all that mattered. My father grinned smugly. "Amy, what a surprise! I'm revoking your disownment." The audacity left me speechless. My mother-in-law, unable to hide her disgust, asked, "What on earth is going on with you people?" The air was thick with tension. My in-laws and employees stared in shock at my biological family. But my brother sneered, "Blood is blood. We have a right to share in the money you earn." His wife nodded in agreement, her expression entitled. I felt my blood boil. "No, you don't. You abandoned me. You treated me like a stranger." Tears threatened to spill as years of pain resurfaced. At that moment, John stepped beside me. "Amy is part of our family. Even without you disowning her, we are perfectly happy. Please leave." The employees murmured in agreement. "How rude! Who do they think they are?" For the first time in my life, I wasn't alone. I had people who cared about me. This was my family. My brother, furious, shouted, "Shut up, you country bumpkins! You're all uneducated trash. You should just obey us." John's lips curled into a smirk. "Well, my father and I are Ivy League graduates, and Amy graduated from a well-known agricultural university." My brother's face paled. For once, he had nothing to say. As my biological family stood there, stunned and humiliated, I felt something shift inside me. Closure. I had wasted too many years yearning for love from people incapable of giving it. But now, standing beside my husband, my in-laws, and my employees, I realized I was finally free. And I was exactly where I belonged. Breaking free and finding true family, a final stand. "Why are you farming despite being graduates of top universities?" my brother blurted out, his disbelief plain as day.